When you don't post the content, when you don't sell today, when you tell yourself that your messaging needs to be perfect and that your offer needs 10 million things before you can actually sell it, you are not only holding yourself back from the results that you could receive, but you're also holding yourself back from somebody else benefiting from your work. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, beauties. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. And today I am giving you a juicy inside look into the From Imposter to Empowered program. The From Imposter to Empowered program is my group program for coaches and online service providers to overcome imposter syndrome, learn how to show up consistently without burning out, sell their offers with confidence so they can make 5K bare minimum months. This program is for you if you feel like you don't really know how you want to run your business, if you feel like a fraud when you show up and sell, if showing up consistently and selling your offers is something that you don't do on an everyday basis, and if you are somebody who is making between 0K to 3K a month, then this program is perfectly fit for you. Not only do you receive a full curriculum with trainings on mindset, money, manifestation, and strategy and business, you also receive my 3 courses, which is Unfiltered and Filthy Rich, the content course, the sales course, 6-Figure Stories, and my launch course, the Perfect Launch Vault. You get hot seat coaching calls every single month where I make sure to coach every single person on the call. I also just want to say as well that I am the only coach inside of my business. I don't have a co-coach, and it'll be a long time until I do, but I coach every one of my clients like they are close proximity clients. So this is not one of those groups where you join and you're like, where the fuck is the coach? I am in there to support you on the hot seat coaching calls, as well as you have a Slack community. So in Slack, I am in there from Tuesday to Thursday, coaching everybody on everything that they need when it comes to their mindset, when it comes to their business, so you can show up and sell each and every day and make those 5K bare minimum months in your business. When you join, you can join for 6 months at $444 a month or $2,500 pay in full. And as soon as you join, like I said, you get access to the curriculum, the 3 courses, as well as the Slack community, the hot seat coaching calls, and I also do monthly client events that are breathwork and content planning parties. And I do that for all of my clients. So whether you are a one-to-one client or in the Fraud Squad Mastermind or in the From Imposter to Empowered program, you get access to those client events each month. So I wanted to give you a little sneak peek into what you can expect when you get into the curriculum. There are over 20 trainings that are very specific on mindset, on overcoming imposter syndrome, on overcoming comparison, on strategy, how to speak to your soulmate client, how to charge for your offers, how to construct your offer suite, all of these things that you need to know to have a profitable online business that makes at least 5K a month. It is all inside of this curriculum. And like I said, I'm giving you a sneak fucking peek today. Okay. So I love you so much. You're first going to hear the training on how to stop overthinking and just take action. And then you're going to hear the training on how to speak to your soulmate client. I gave you 2 today. And when you are ready to join us inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program, don't wait any longer. You can click the link in my show notes and it will take you to the sales page where you can join directly from there. If you have any questions at all, send me a DM at your coach Jill and enjoy. Hello and welcome to the training for how to stop overthinking and just take action. When I started in 2018, I began my Instagram page while working a full-time job. I didn't know how to show up and sell or create content that would lead people to want to work with me. For about 2 years, I really was winging it when it came to showing up online. I didn't hire a coach until the beginning of 2019, and then I slowly started to learn the skills that I needed, including learning how to launch. It wasn't until 2020 when I became certified in neuro-linguistic programming, time techniques, and EFT tapping, so I had all of these tools in addition to my education and my expertise. And that was when I really started to become consistent online. I began showing up every single day on my stories in addition to working full-time, and I devoted time to learning how to create content that would not only attract people to my work, but also lead them to actually work with me. And I remember vividly sitting on my couch on the weekends, looking at my analytics and the work that I had done the previous week, thinking that this feels like it's taking forever. But the truth is, now in 2024, as I'm recording this, that was not that long ago. Even though, because of the pandemic, it does feel like I've lived a million different lives since then, in reality, that was only 4 years ago. And since then, I've created over $500,000. It's closer to $600K actually at this point. I have switched niches and pivoted, and my business looks totally different than it did even just 2 years ago. So what I'm saying here is that your business, even though the day-to-day feels like it can drag out and it feels like things are taking time, in the grand scheme of things, time moves very quickly. And this is just a blip on your timeline. And I want to liken this to having a kid. I've heard this from all my friends who have children, and that the days are long, but the years are short. I apply the same thing when it comes to my business. It feels like every day when I'm showing up and doing the same things, it can feel like the days are very long and the results aren't happening like bam, 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 bam. But in reality, when I look back and see the results I've created over a 4-week span, a 6-month span, whatever, it is actually unbelievable. The amazing thing about the online space is that anything can happen in a very short amount of time. You can be thinking things aren't working for me, and 2 seconds later, somebody reaches out to you because you've been showing up consistently and creating the content, and they could be like, hey, I'm ready to work with you, and then they could be paying you thousands of dollars. For example, I've had clients who have reached out to me and I didn't even really have them on my radar, and they say, do you have any one-to-one packages? And I say yes, and then that client ends up re-signing over and over again and becomes a client who has paid me $10K, $20K, $30K plus. So I want you to adopt that thinking, is that nurturing your business is like nurturing a child. In the beginning, you're going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. You're going to be doing a lot of the work. You're going to be doing a lot of the things that you need to do to make your business work. But that's because, just like a child in the beginning, you're learning how to do everything. You're learning what works and what doesn't, and you are investing your time and your resources into something that you see the long-term game in. Owning a business is an investment that compounds over time. If you are consistent, if you are creating content, if you are showing up and providing value to your community, if you're pouring into your business because you see the long-term gain, your results are going to compound over time. And this is why there are people that start businesses and then they are very impatient and they almost feel entitled to results. And I just have to tell you right now that you are never going to go anywhere if that is your fucking attitude. Having an online business is a long-term gain. You can experience results in such a short amount of time when you really invest yourself in your resources. However, you are always growing, you are always evolving, and you have to love what you do, and you have to love the process and the journey, not just the results that you want. You have to see this as an investment into something that is long-term, like a child, and that you will have a lifelong, ever-changing, and ever-evolving relationship with, again, like a child. This is the part that is going to really help you stop overthinking and just take action, is the fact that you cannot improve on something that you haven't taken action on. So for example, uploading content. I once worked with a client who wouldn't post on her Instagram feed, even though she had tons of content in her queue waiting to be posted. But what was happening was she was constantly telling herself that the content could always be better, and it wasn't until the content was improved on that she would allow herself to post it. But the difference between a post that's moving the needle and one that's not is the one that's posted, is the one that's fucking moving the needle. I'm not saying that this means that you can just throw up whatever you want when it comes to your content. What I'm saying is that the action that you don't take today are the results that you don't get tomorrow, and that it's never going to be perfect no matter how long you wait. You are going to be constantly working on yourself, constantly working on your content, your messaging, your business. And this isn't to discourage you. This is to empower you and be like, nobody can make you feel like your content is enough until you actually start posting it and seeing results from that and realizing that you don't have to be perfect. When I started to learn how to invest in the stock market, I got advice from my older brother. I could have gone to my dad, who is somebody who's been very active in the stock market for a while. But the thing is about my dad is that he is somebody who will purchase a stock and then he'll sell it very quickly. And this is not the goal when you have an online business. You want to build that interest. You want it to be a long-term investment. And the only way you're going to do that is by investing your time, investing your resources, and staying consistent with the work that you're doing. Because the truth is you are keeping somebody from a life-changing transformation when you hold yourself back because you think that your work isn't perfect. When you don't post the content, when you don't sell today, when you tell yourself that your messaging needs to be perfect and that your offer needs 10 million things before you can actually sell it, you are not only holding yourself back from the results that you could receive, but you're also holding yourself back from somebody else benefiting from your work. Nobody can benefit from your work if you don't upload the post. I promise you will look back on the work that you've done over the past year, over the past month, 6 months, and you'll be like, wow, I've come so far in my identity, in my mindset, in the work that I've accomplished. And growing your audience is going to compound over time. It's going to compound into results over time. But if there's nothing in the account to compound on, then you won't see the result. You have to start and continue to make deposits into the account, right? For it to actually compound into a result that you will inevitably see later. The last thing I want to say here is that usually when we're overthinking, when we're procrastinating, it is evidence of a deeper emotional issue. And we've talked about this before, right? So if you are experiencing a lot of overthinking where you just can't take action, I want you to brain dump in your journal what is coming up for you around taking action. What do you think is going to happen when you take action? And I ask you that question because as somebody who has struggled with overthinking in the past, I would procrastinate on things and overthink what I was doing because I knew that once I started to take action, I would be confronted with those feelings of imposter syndrome, of not being good enough, of not putting out quality content. And then essentially that fear of success would also come up if somebody were to reach out and want to work with me. But luckily, these are all things that we work through in this program, and it is what I am most expert at when it comes to running a business. So this is a great opportunity for you to brain dump in your journal what you think is going to come up when you start taking action and when you stop giving so many fucks about what your content says and if it's perfect. And then we can coach on it and we can work through it in real time in this program. There are amazing resources for you for the subconscious to really start to change your beliefs and build that emotional resilience that you need to keep building and keep going so you can reap the rewards from your work that you're putting in today. At the end of the day, my love, nobody can benefit from your work, including you, when you do not take action. And you cannot wait for things to look perfect or to be perfect because I promise you, when you start taking action today, you are going to be able to look back on this moment in a month, in 6 months, in a year, and you're going to be amazed at the things that you've accomplished and the money you've made as a result of doing this work now and today. Welcome to the training on how to identify your soulmate client and how to start speaking to them. So first things first, I've attached a really great resource to go along with this training, and that is the Soulmate Client Blueprint. And this is going to be your blueprint for being able to communicate to your soulmate client as you are giving value and as you are selling your offer and your content. So when we're talking about your soulmate client, I do not mean the very simplistic, what age is she? What color is her hair? And all these other things that don't actually matter when it comes to the context of your offer. When it comes to the context of your offer, what I want to know is, what is she thinking? What experiences is she having? What things is she saying? What feelings is she having? And what are the thoughts that she's going to be having when she's at her desk in her office, staring at her screen trying to create content? Or if she's sitting on her couch having a conversation with her partner and she feels like she just can't communicate properly with them, right? Or if your client is a health client, like what are they thinking as they open up the fridge? right? Like these are the things that you need to know and be able to communicate to your soulmate client so they can be able to identify themselves when they see your content. And usually somebody will say, well, I don't know what they're thinking. And I want you to go deeper into this because you are probably starting this business or have started it because of your experience. And I want you to use the exercise Dear Diary as well. So this is a very simple exercise that I use with all my clients to help them really get in the head of their soulmate client. I want you to imagine that you are looking in through your ideal client's window and you are seeing them write in their diary. And what are they actually saying in their diary? What experiences are they detailing? What are they struggling with? What are they thinking that they maybe are not saying out loud? Something that I always used to do is talk at length about the thoughts that I would have about imposter syndrome and not being good enough. And I would get so many comments from people saying, Jill, it feels like you're in my head. Because even if they weren't directly saying those things, they were thinking them. And the fact that I was verbalizing them in my content was so helpful for my potential client. And it really helped them identify that they were a good fit for my offers. You can also opt to do market research if that's something you want to do. I never really did it. I didn't really love the idea of having to get on calls when I wasn't being paid for them, especially because I was working full time. So I didn't have a lot of time. So don't believe people when they say that you need to do market research. You absolutely don't have to. And you can instead just start creating content and really reach into your own ideas, look into your own brain, because the majority of you are going to be starting your business from a place of experience, right? There's a reason why you became this kind of coach or this kind of service provider. You struggled with confidence and then you overcame it, or you worked as a service provider and now you want to provide this kind of service. So trust yourself here in that you will be able to identify what the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of your soulmate client are and start creating content around those things. The Soulmate Client Blueprint is really going to help you with that, and you can find that in the download section. Another thing that I really want you to think about when it comes to creating content and speaking to this soulmate client is that your soulmate client is somebody who can actually afford your services. So you also want to be speaking to the person that wants the service that you're delivering. What some coaches and service providers will do is they will unconsciously be creating content that is trying to convince somebody that they should want coaching, that they should want your services, etc. But if you have to convince somebody that they need a coach or that they need a certain kind of service, you are talking to the wrong kind of person, and you're going to constantly feel like you're in this convincing energy when you're creating content. So I want you to remember this. Your ideal client, your soulmate client, is somebody that can afford your services. And they are not only somebody that needs your service, but they know that they need it, but they also want it. They want to be coached. They want this service to be added to their business or what have you, right? So from that place, you are speaking to your soulmate client's experiences, what they're feeling, what they're struggling with, what they're thinking. You still want to keep in mind that they are seeking a solution to it. They are a person that wants a solution to this problem. They are not just having the problem, they are also seeking the solution to it. And this is really important because this is called talking to the empowered client. You're talking to the person who is having the struggles but wants to make the changes, right? And they are looking for a service or a coach or somebody to help them with this problem. And from that place, you can create really empowering, compelling content because you believe that your soulmate client is actually looking for content and services like yours. So download the Soulmate Client Blueprint, fill that out, do the Dear Diary exercise in your own journal. And if you need help with any of this at all, drop into the Slack channel or come to the calls for coaching. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to learn how you can work with me, where you can buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and how to get on my email list for free. Screenshot this episode and add it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at Your Coach Jill. See you next time.